Tonight, kids are having their say about divorce and separation. It's no parents allowed in the Insight studio tonight. And Rebecca, your parents divorced when you were only about 2. Mum got a new partner when you were 8 and Dad remarried when you were 14. What's that been like?
Interesting. I don't really remember my parents being together, so that hasn't been an issue like it has for some of the other members of the forum, but the step-parent thing has been interesting. I've never been great friends with my stepdad. I've tried, and my stepmum in particular. Mum and dad themselves have fairly similar personalities, but with the new partners that they've picked, they seem to have picked each other's polar opposites. So my stepmum is very homemaker. She's got 2 little children who are my half-siblings that I love to death. And she's all napkins on the table and likes craft and everything's really pretty, which I don't mind, but it creates a very different atmosphere towards my stepdad, who's really laid back. Dinner can take a few hours to happen, whereas at Dad's it's exactly on time. And that's been hard because it's created diversions within my parents. Before my parents got remarried, particularly before my dad got remarried, my parents used to get on fantastically. Mum would come over for Dad's for dinner every Sunday night. Everything had worked really well. But particularly as my elder sister, she's now 20, and I got older, and as they remarried, it got harder and harder. And I don't know if it was because of my step-parents, but it feels like it was.
So the divorce wasn't the big deal for you?
No, the step-parents are.
It's been the step-parents.
Yeah.
Sarah, you've been living with your mum and her partner for the past 8 years, but you recently moved. Let's have a look why.
Basically, I'm just packing most of my worldly possessions so that I can move to my dad's, because Mum's house is full of conflict and I feel like I need a change.
And what's the conflict here?
It's mainly with my mum's partner. We just kind of argue about the most random things, and we just argue a lot, and we don't really get along that well, and it's causing a bit of distress and stuff, and it's hard for Mum seeing us argue and things. And I also tend to argue with Mum about arguing with Brian. That's my mum's partner. So I figure if we take one person out of the equation, then it should stop. This is much heavier than it looks. I'm going to move to my dad's house, which will be good because my dad and I tend to get along a bit better than the residents of this house, because we kind of have similar senses of humour and similar personalities, and he's pretty easygoing. Mum's house is has a pretty good location. It's really close to where I work, and it's really close to, it's pretty close to where I go to school, and it's pretty close to town and things like that. And also I'll miss, it's a pretty big house and there's a pretty big backyard and everything, and I'll miss my mum obviously, but that's probably about it. And then there's some things that I won't miss.
What's it like now you're living with your dad, Sarah?
Oh, it's so good. It's just I don't know, it's so, there's so much less rules, and it's not the authority position, kind of teacher and student and parent and child. It's more of we're equal,
So is it about your relationship with your mum? Is that the reason you've moved, or is it because of your stepdad?
No, it's because of my mum's partner.
Your mum's partner?
Yeah, and so at Dad's, it's I don't know, we're just so our personalities are so congruent, and it's so good, and it's just chilling.
Do you think you would have, has your dad got a partner? Your dad doesn't have a partner?
He did have a really on and off relationship for years, and I didn't like her either, and neither did my brothers. And she had children from a previous marriage, which was so weird.
So do you think it's just that you don't like either of your parents having a partner at all?
I don't know. I guess that probably will always be an issue, but also because I just don't like them as a person at all, it kind of helps. But it's also I don't know, I just don't think I'll ever get along with a step-parent could be an issue. I don't know, because I've never had any other step-parents that I actually like as a person.
Do you think you contributed to that as well?
To what?
Tension, conflict.
Oh yeah, it takes 2 to tango, definitely.
Who else has something to say about step-parents? I mean, I'm interested in how you all feel about new people coming into your lives. Danielle?
It's really difficult to live in a house with someone who you haven't grown up with always, and become a lot like, because when you're with your parents, you have a lot of their values and things. So having a step-parent obviously causes more tension, and I think that's why it's really difficult. Yeah, apart from wanting more of your parents and their time.
Anyone else like to comment on this? Yeah, lots of people would. John?
I reckon they're a bit like a gnat, step-parent, because they seem to like come into your life, live off all your things basically, just kind of take over in a way and try to take over that fatherly role when you actually know they're not your father. So yeah, they're just basically sucking all the life out of everything basically.
Okay, very negative view. Samuel, what about you?
My mum just recently got married again. This is her second marriage since my mum and dad got divorced, and she moved away to the country, and he is interesting. Like, he's nice, and he doesn't try to take over like as a dad or anything. And I don't talk to him that often, but I think he's just trying to be friendly. He's never had kids. He's been married once before, but I don't.
So you don't feel any great antagonism to him?
No, there's no like conflict or anything.
Tara, you want to say something?
Yeah, well, my dad's got a new partner, and since he's been with her, he's noticeably happier, and like, she's really nice and I can talk to her and stuff, but sometimes it gets annoying when she tells me what to do, and then my dad tells me something else, and I go with my dad, but then I feel bad because she's told me something and I've like gone against it.
Yeah, it's definitely like, who are you? You're not my parent. What the hell do you think you're doing? Why are you telling me what to do? You have no influence on my life. Like, I don't want to live with you, and so why are you even speaking to me? Like, why are you telling me what to do? It just makes me so angry. It's like, you're not my mum and you're not my dad. You're not anyone to me.
Rachel, we heard at the very beginning of tonight about you standing in the driveway as a toddler with Dad driving out and your stepdad driving in. What happened after that to you?
My mum and her new husband built a house in Allenbrook when it was first developing. They got married in Allenbrook. We moved into the house. It was all honky-dory, you know, it was all pretty groovy. I never got to see my stepsister again, which was from my father. So I haven't seen her since I was 3.
So did Mum stay with your stepdad? No.
Yeah, they got married and they were together for a while, and then she met a guy from a bikie gang in Melbourne, and we moved over there.
Is your mum still with the partner that she had after the stepdad? How many step parents have you dealt with in your life altogether?
To be honest with you, I have lost count. Sorry, Mum, if you're watching, but seriously, I have lost all their names, or most of their names, and there's been lots of different gentlemen coming through the house that have only come once or 2 or 3 times, and then we never see them again, so I can't really remember their name, you know, and we've gone out for lunch with them, but I would have no idea what letter their name begins with. I can't remember.
So where's that left you, Rachel? Now?
Kind of just like on my own, because Mum's always looking for a new partner, or when she finds him, then we move in with him, and then we move out again. And so I'm kind of always on my own. So my sister's always out doing her thing and, you know, partying or whatever, and I'm just kind of at home because Mum won't let me go out, but yeah.
So who do you trust?
Myself. I don't really tell my mum or my dad really anything, or if I do, then it would be like very minimal, and it's because I'm absolutely desperate for an answer or advice. Otherwise, I'll try to figure it all out by myself. I don't really trust either parent, because one person will tell me something, the other person will tell me something else, and it's like, well, who do I trust? Yeah.
So you've felt very alone for a lot of your childhood.
Yeah, and I just kind of like never really came home until like 6 o'clock at night, which wasn't very safe because there was rival gangs in the little town as well. So, but it didn't really bother me. So I would just hang out after school and come home at like 6 o'clock.
Danielle, how do you get on with all the people in your life? Because we saw your mum's family, your dad's new family. How does all that work for you now?
Pretty well. There's a lot of love, which is important, and my step-parents really care about me and my sister. So, yeah, it works pretty well.
And do they get on with one another?
I don't think my stepdad and my stepmum have ever spoken. It's kind of a big connection. But, yeah, my mum and my dad get along all right, and I think it's important with the whole not bagging the other parent thing. They realise that we just resent them for that if they do that, so they don't, and there's not much hate in a relationship, which makes a big difference.
One of the things that adults say a lot is that kids are really resilient. You hear this all the time, that they cope really well with divorce, that kids manage fine. Is that true? Aoife?
They say that because that's what they want us to believe, and I guess it's what we have to do to cope because it's what they believe. It's our coping mechanism to get through everything when they think we're all right.
Anthony, what do you think?
I think it's the opposite to that. I mean, you're going to put on that front because obviously that's what they want. They want to feel like they've made the right decision for you. But even if you are upset, you're still sort of trying to protect people. And I think there probably needs to be a bit more discussion about things like that. And parents need to sort of realise that it does affect things, whether it be it upsets you or it makes you angry or puts you in awkward situations. I think basically there just needs to be a whole level of understanding between both kids and parents.
Rachel?
A lot of kids hide what they feel because they're afraid that if they say something, their mother or father is going to get quite angry because it's still a fresh situation for the parent. And I think the child understands that the parent is quite upset and distraught. And I think that if the child goes, well, I'm upset too, can't you see me? Then they're going to go, go away, I'm having like a midlife crisis, and I think the children just keep it inside and bottled up, and when they go to bed, that's when they let it out.
Lynn, what about you?
I think a lot of kids are shown to be resilient about divorces because they have to be. Like, if your parents get divorced when you're 8, for example, you can't really spend the rest of your life moping around going, oh, my parents are divorced, it's all about me, blah, blah, blah. Like, I think at a certain point, we have to grow up and we have to say, well, they're divorced, there's not much I can do about it now, I have to, go on with my life. And I'm sure, in the long term, there are probably effects or something that will damage our lifestyle. I'm sure most of us have different images now of what relationships are like, what being a parent would be like. If we ever got married, then I think we would definitely think more than the average person about divorce and what the child would go through.
Okay, let's have a look at some more advice that some of you have for the adult world.
Try to make the breakup, the split or the divorce as easy as possible, especially for the child. Because it is a lot of hard work for the child to get it through their mind that, their father or their mother's not going to be living with them anymore, and that there's going to be a new daddy or a new mummy.
I don't reckon they shouldn't just close off, the doors to the other parents. They should always allow contact, and that even if they completely hate them, they have to understand that the other parent does care just as much as they do for their kids.
The most important thing is to love your kids and to show them that you love them, and to trust them when they say things and how they feel, and to allow them to speak.
Everything you do, be united and don't fight in front of your kids. And don't talk bad to your kids either about the other parent.
Try and understand kids more and be patient with them because they don't think the same as you. And even if you have been through a similar situation, it's never the same.
Instead of just saying, yeah, I understand what you're going through, it's okay, I get it, just accept that they are dealing with it in a different way and that they might not necessarily understand what the kid's going through.
I'd probably tell them not to forget the kids' needs and that it's good to see them and don't abandon them altogether.
Some good advice there. I wonder whether you think it matters how old you are when your parents break up. Tim?
I think it's different reactions because when I was 3, my parents broke up. I didn't know what was going on. I had to be looked after. I couldn't really act independently. But if you're, over 10, or when you understand fully a divorce and what's going to happen, I think it has a bigger impact and a bigger emotional impact.
Does it matter how old you are, Hannah? Do you think it matters how old you are when it happens?
No, I don't actually. You could be just, I don't know, a couple months old when your parents divorce, but if you find out things later on in your life, whether you're 10 or 12 or whatever, then that'll affect you at the time that you find out those things, and it can affect you for years through your life if you discover things or you find out things about your parents, or, you learn more stuff.
How does it affect your other relationships, Aoife? Has it affected you?
Yeah, it has. But I think that the older you are, the more mature you are, so the more you're able to comprehend it and understand it and, understand why it's happening and that it's better for your parents. But when you're little, all you really want is for your parents to be together and for you to be one big happy family.
Does it affect other relationships? Harley, what do you think? Do you think kids from separated families are different to kids whose families are intact?
Yeah, sure. I think that from what I've seen, a lot of my friends have separated parents, and we definitely seem to be more prone to adventuring or maybe moving out of home early, like I think you're saying before. And yeah, I think definitely with family life, you would strongly consider marrying someone who you weren't going to get separated from, or even if you did, it does happen, but you'd sort of think about it very carefully, and you'd want to talk through and really communicate with them, like people have been saying, and kind of make it a good divorce, I suppose.
Does it affect the way you feel about having relationships yourselves? Has it influenced the way you think about that? Yeah.
It certainly has. As an